Hello everyone and thanks for tuning in. Have you been working on your kits and you still have issues removing those nub marks? Are you wondering how to eliminate those rough edges and those nasty little white spots? Today we will check out some techniques that will help you to improve the quality of your builds. I will show you which tools you will need and how to use them. So, without any further ado, relax, grab a cup of tea and let's start! These are the tools we're going to use for our first technique: nippers and sanding paper ranging from 600 till 2000. Now you want to take your runner and look at the part you want to cut. The part is gonna be this one. Let's now take a look at the point of connection. There are 3 of them and you need to find out which one is the thickest, which is this one. Now this will need to be cut last. This is because you will need to put more strength on that one, and if the other 2 parts are connected, you will apply some torsion on it, and probably this will cause some discoloring and the part will result white, and this is the first mistake you can make. So yeah, cut these 2 first and then the thicker one as last. Turn your runner around, so you're gonna have a better view of the point of connection. I will be using just some regular nippers for this. They don't need to be expensive ones. Just make sure you're cutting a couple of millimeters from the part and with a flat part of the nipper pointing towards your piece. So the torsion will actually be directed on the outwards of the piece, and less stress is better stress. Take your time, make sure you do not ruin the part, and there we go. I will now use my single bladed nippers. I will suggest to get a good one. These are the God Hand 120, which is a really good choice. Absolutely suggested. You want now to start shaving off layer by layer the nub. So slowly, a bit at a time, without putting a lot of strength. You see that the part shouldn't have any white mark on it. Just slowly remove it, layer by layer. Don't rush it, because rush is a slow and insidious killer, remember that. Between parts, remember to clean your nippers, keep them nice and clean, maintain your tools as much as you can. It will really pay off in the long run. So we just repeat the process on all of our knobs, till there is just a tiny bit left on the part. And here we are. The piece is nice and ready to be said. Oops! Okay, that didn't happen. And now with the sanding process. I'll be using this really nice sanding stick with some sanding paper attached to it. The sanding paper here is actually adhesive by itself, but you can totally use some homemade product, like just a popsicle stick with some double-sided tape will make the work. Want to start to sand, pressing in one direction. Just be really light and use as many passes as you need. You don't want to put any strength in it, otherwise, yeah, the part is gonna probably get ruined. Now, you can see how this stick is way too big. So, what can we do? Well, the solution is actually simple, more simple than you think. You will just need to use a smaller one. And now we can continue our process. Just slow and steady. Always in one direction. If it happens that you touch parts that you don't want to and they get a bit sandy, don't worry, we're gonna fix it later. Use a toothbrush to clean the dust away, so you have a better idea of what is going on. You can use your nail to feel how much plastic there is still to remove. Okay, looks like we're almost there. Now we can put away our 600 sanding stick and use a bit higher one. Let's go with an 800. Just a bit of passes. Make sure to keep the corner of the piece properly shaped. And then we can start going up to 1000. Very nice. Basically, I cannot feel any more gap between the part. We can just start now with 1200. I will start using sanding sponges, which is they will cover the whole surface of the piece. Going to 1500. And let's end with a 2000. Just a few passes, you don't need to use it for a long time. Let's give it a nice clean. And the part is already really nice, but you can see how it's not perfect. Well, this is the moment in which we need to polish the part. To polish it, you can just get a cheap polish box online for really not a lot. But I will use the balancer for razor. We'll just use the first part to adjust the surface, and then the top part that will give a nice and shiny effect. And here we are. You can see how there's basically nothing left. There's just a bit of discoloring, which is pretty much almost impossible to avoid. But yeah, everything looks really polished. Now we can look at another technique to use on your piece, and that would be with a glass file. I have this one from Razer, which is pretty good, and compared to the actual sanding paper, you will have less control. So as much as it's way faster, because you will not need to go all the way using so many different grades of sanding. Yeah, you risk to actually eat your plastic, because this stuff is really effective. It works exactly in the same way, so you just have to pass it in one direction, always the same, and just keep doing it till the knob is completely removed. Unfortunately, it's pretty big. As you can see, it's not perfect. There is a bit of a white part left that I'm not really happy with. But unfortunately, this is the problem with glass files. Having less control, you can work a bit less on your piece, and this can lead to mistakes. Also, it happens that if you're not careful, you're gonna completely ruin the shape of your part. So yeah, quicker, easier, but not as good as sanding paper. Well, we're almost there, just a few passes left. Let's do a bit of balancing. So we use the exact same technique, first with the lower part and then with the upper part. The result is almost the same as we had with the sanding paper, but there is a little white discoloring that you can see here. It's really tiny, but it's not as good as the other part. That is why I tend to stick with my sanding paper. I honestly think it's the best way. But yeah, it's totally a viable option too. Now for the last knob, we're gonna do something slightly different. We're going to use our hobby knife, and now we're going to just shave the knob a bit at a time, keeping your blade pointing upwards so you don't dig into the plastic. You just slowly shave. Maybe consider to use some protective gloves, which I'm not doing. Yeah, I know, my fault. But yeah, this could be slightly dangerous. I'm not a big fan of this technique because you really risk to lose control of the blade and just dip into the plastic and make like a big mess. But yeah, if you're careful, you go slowly, you can totally achieve good results. And there we have it. And to finish, a bit more of our polishing using our balancer. First with the bottom part and then with the top to give this nice shiny look to our part. You can see how the knob marks are completely removed. There's basically no discoloring, there is no rough surface, and the piece is ready to be assembled. If you're bothered by the fact that on the edges is more shiny and on the top is still pretty matte, you can totally use your balancer to make the piece looks even, which I actually like. Is actually what okay, that happened again. Anyway, yeah, I like my piece to look all the same, so I would totally do it. Now, to clean everything, all your tools, I would suggest to just use a moist sponge, just a regular kitchen sponge, and just pass your tool. It will remove all the plastic dust and leave them nice and clean. I repeat, keep care of your tools and they will last longer, and that is gonna be already a good saving. With this, I think we're gonna call it for today. I hope you find all the information you needed, and please consider about liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And if you have any comments, just write them down there. I would love to hear what you have to say about it, and maybe you can share some of your experiences too for other people. Said that, thank you again, and have a good day. Cheers!